What's up guys, Adam of AS Trains here, and welcome to another latest acquisitions video. Okay, it is April 4th, 2016, and I figured it was time to do another acquisitions video due to the fact that I have quite a lot of items that you guys have not seen and I feel that are worthy for a video. And as you can see, we got quite a lot of items, mostly HO, but I do have some O gauge here on the table, and enough chitter chatter, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first items up on the list are Lionel post-war cars. These three cars I received as gifts courtesy of my friend Rick Norris of the YouTube channel Bachman GS4 1100. If you guys know him, you know he's the one in charge of the Dozer project, and he's also got the really nice collection of Lionel post-war F units, which I still crave one. But we've been emailing back and forth, and then he said that he got some cars that he was willing to let me have, due to the fact that he's never met a kid my age who was into trains or really into Lionel post-war. So what we have here is very nice condition Lionel Sunoco 2-dome tanker. I'm not sure when this one was built. This is now the second one I have. This one, of course, being the better one. It's a very nice car, very, very sturdy. Next car is a Lehigh Valley 25,000 coal hopper. If you guys watch my videos often, you'll know that I have another Lehigh Valley 25,000, but it is not built like this one. This one, when compared to that other one, is built much sturdier. It's got a better build, so to speak. The black one is much cheaper, even though both of them have stamp dates of January 1948. This one has more metal on it, so to speak. It's held in with two screws on each side, and those hold down the trucks and the end frame assemblies. The trucks on this particular car are the old school bar end style trucks, have metal wheels, and this one also has operating knuckle couplers. The black 25,000 hopper that I have, the couplers are non-functional. They're cast all the way. The trucks are plastic. The plastic on the black one is actually a bit, I wouldn't say fragile, but it is much thinner. I could easily, like, for example, this one, yeah, it's got some flex into it. The black one, well, there's a lot of flex in it. It's just a cheaper build than this one, but it's still a good car. So that's this one, and it was just a quick comparison of the two. And the last one is the jewel of the three cars. This is the Lionel Lines 6560 crane car. Very fun car to play with. You can raise and lower the hook. I'm lowering it. It's going back up. And you could also, using this rear wheel, you could lower and raise the boom. Be nice if I had the boom car with it. Maybe one day I will. So those are the three post-war cars. And once again, these were given to me courtesy of my friend Rick Norris of YouTube channel Bachman GS4 1100. So shout out to Uncle Rick. Thank you for these cars, and they will be put to good use. Next up, we're going to be looking at some HOCl rolling stock. This is all rolling stock that does not have boxes, unfortunately, but it's still nice rolling stock nonetheless. So starting from the bottom, we have an HOCl Atlas. I think this is either Atlas Master Line or Atlas Train Line. But this is a Seaboard cylindrical hopper. This was actually, both this and the Seaboard Caboose were trade items that I made with my friend Anthony Benelli up in, I believe, yes, New Jersey. And I will real quick share with you the story on how I got these cars in that trade. I'm not sure if you guys ever remember seeing it, but I had an old Athearn Erie Lackawanna bay window caboose that was professionally weathered, and it had metal wheels, had knuckle couplers. It was a beautiful car. I did extend the weathering a little bit on it to suit my needs, and then one day I happened to show him pictures of it, and he fell in love with the caboose, and he shared with me that that particular caboose was actually one he had been looking for years, but never could find one. And he asked me if I'd ever consider getting rid of it, either selling it or trading it. And I said, well, I'm not really sure, because I did get it for my birthday, but I'm willing to make a deal. Do you have anything to trade, specifically like Atlantic Coastline or Seaboard Airline and so on and so forth? And he said, I do have two Seaboard pieces that I'm willing to trade with you for just that caboose. And so then he showed me this Atlas caboose. It's an extended vision. You guys have seen this in a video before. and the cylindrical hopper. Both came with metal wheels and knuckle couplers, Katy knuckle couplers to be exact. These are really smooth rolling pieces and they're beautiful to run. Next up is some more Seaboard Airline cars. These are made by Bowser, and these are true matches to my Seaboard Coastline box car. Both of them are the automobile style wagon tops. I found these at a yard sale for $2 a piece, and I think the guy did not know what he had. I think he said he found them somewhere in his garage, and he did not know why he had them. He doesn't know if anyone in the family was into trains. I think someone got them thinking they were worth something, which they are, but they're worth more than $2. They have knuckle couplers and metal wheels, and I did paint the bottoms of these because I wanted to experiment with painting the undersides. And the last car is an Athearn ready to roll. This is a Pennsylvania piggyback service car. I picked this up at a thrift shop for $10. I believe that's how much it is worth, and it was pretty good because I saw it had Katy knuckle couplers, metal wheels, and it was this was a brand new car. It just did not have a box. So it's a really, really nice car, and I'm heavily using. All these cars I'm heavily using. The Seaboard hopper I'm kind of reserving for my modern engines like my CSX GP40 and so on and so forth. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. Alright, now you see we got some more rolling stock online. These are items that do have boxes. This first up is a Walthers. If I'll take really quick the cover off. It is a Walthers kit, and this is specifically, I'll read the tag. This is the 40-foot meat reefer, ART, the American Refrigerator Transit Company, number 26099. This is basically the equivalent to the PFE reefers, only the two railroads sharing this car are Wabash and the Missouri Pacific. This was a kit that I will say this dominates the Athearn kits. I mean, the detail is flawless. In fact, the detail is so much, in my opinion, the reason why it dominates the Athearn reefers, in my opinion, was that you had all this underside detail you could put on, the little steps you had to put on yourself, the hatches, the ladders, the brake wheel. Katy originally came with horn hook couplers, but I replaced them with Katy's because with all the detail you had to put on, I felt it was very worthy of knuckle couplers. It's a very nice car. Move this one out of the way. Next car is a car. Okay, now these two cars, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to talk about these together. These two cars I bought at a train show back in February. It was early February that I got these cars. In fact, one of the engines that I'll be showing you guys, I got it at the same time I got these cars. Bought them at the same train show. So the first car is an Athearn Dairyman's League reefer car, low-sided one. This is a reefer car. This type of reefer car, I've never seen it before. I mean, I did not know reefer cars of this design ever existed, because it's just very weird to me. Like I said, I've never seen one like this. Smooth car, paid $5 for it, or actually no, even though the original price tag's in there, I think I only paid $2 or $3 for this car. The guy was very nice about it. I asked him how much he wanted for it, and he said $2. $2 or $3, like I said. Smooth roller. Really, it looks beautiful in a freight train. Move this one out of the way. And the last car to have a box is this Southern Pacific diner car. Now, you guys are probably asking, hey, if you got that, then where's the rest of the SP cars? Why aren't you displaying those too? Well, when I did the unveiling video, that was pretty much that was kind of a latest acquisitions video all to itself, because I just decided to just put everything in that video. And also, after I filmed that video, which was back in, I believe it had to been, yeah, it was in January. After I filmed that video was when I went to this train show, and that's where I bought this. So I bought this after I'd filmed the unveiling video for the Lark. But now this train has two diner cars. I just had to get this car because it was beautiful. I like the Pullman green scheme on the SP cars, so that's why I got it. And I paid, I believe I already said, but I'll say it again in case I didn't, paid $10 for this car. It's a very nice car. So let's go ahead and move on. Alright, the last two cars I'm going to disclose before we move on to motive power are two Cabooses. Now these two Cabooses actually go to two engines, or actually one Caboose can go to multiple engines due to its road name, but this one Caboose here can, for the moment, only goes to one engine, which is part of this acquisitions video. But these two Cabooses were given to me courtesy of my dear Uncle Johnny Rosser. I bought an engine from him recently, and with it I asked him, does he have a matching Caboose for this, because I plan on running freight with this particular steam engine. And he said, yeah, I think I got a Caboose, let me check, and if I can find it, I'll let you have it. Because, you know, this engine you're buying, you're paying well enough for this engine, I'll just go ahead and include a Caboose for you. And he did. He found this, and you guys may have seen it at the beginning of the video, but this is an Athearn Blue Box Burlington Root bay window boxcar, or not bay window boxcar, it's a bay window Caboose. It's in decent condition. I'm happy with it. I do have to add some details. I'm probably going to take a piece of wire and scratch make a new handrail. The ladders I'm going to take off and I'm going to rebend them. I do got to get another brake wheel for this side. See, this is actually how it's going to look like when it's all said and done. It's got the handrail, got the brake wheel, and you got a ladder. And I am going to upgrade the couplers on this. I do not really like the old Bachman Easy Mate knuckle couplers. Katie's are the way to go in my opinion. So I am going to be putting knuckle couplers, but I do need to buy some parts for this Caboose and as well as the SP. But this is the Burlington Caboose, very nice piece. And here is the SP Caboose. It's another bay window, and it's in the old brown and orange scheme. This one I only need. I do need to find a brake wheel. I'm going to start scrounging around in some of my other freight car kits and see if I could find a brake wheel that's good enough to put on here, and then that'll be taken care of. But I also need to order some ladders, which I'm not. Speaking of ladders, I may end up doing away with these considering how bent up they are, or if I have the time, I may just rebend these and reinstall them. But I do need to order some parts for maybe future projects should I ever get some cars that need ladders, but I definitely need one for this car. This one does have knuckle couplers, Katie knuckle couplers to be exact, and it's technically ready to roll. I will use this in a freight train immediately, even though it's missing a ladder, but other than that, it's ready to go. So it's a very nice car. So shout out to my Uncle Johnny Rosser. Thank you for these two Cabooses. I really appreciate it. Alright, moving on to motive power. Now this is where things are going to start getting interesting. This is an engine that, out of all the trains here that I've discussed in the latest trains acquisitions, this is the oldest of them all. This one I received in early December 2015. This was an early Christmas present from my Uncle Johnny Rosser. He's been in the hobby for so many years. In fact, he has owned and operated many hobby shops. But in his final days of selling trains in stores, he found himself in the corner of an antique mall with his own setup, and he showed me a picture of some of the trains he had in a display case. And I happened to notice that one of them was in daylight colors, and of course I circled it I circled it digitally and asked him, what is that? Is that an Alco PA from Athearn, or is that an F7? He said, that's an F7B, and I asked him, how much do you want for it, because I have the matching A unit, and he said, oh, I'll think about it. I'll think about it and see if I can come up with a good price, but in the meantime, you mind if you can give me your address in case I have anything else that you might like? And I said, yeah, sure. And I gave him my address, and a few weeks later, wham, this comes in the mail. So another thank you from my Uncle Johnny Rosser. This is a great unit. And by the way, I forgot to mention it immediately, but this is actually a powered unit. It's in fact, you can see the flywheels. It's a powered unit, and this with its A unit is a beast rolling down the rails. Anyways, let's move on. Alright, next item on the list is only one of these units. However, I'm going to be giving an update for both these engines due to the fact that they'll be receiving the same type of upgrade. Now, I'm going to be removing 4271 because that's not the new engine. 4270 is. Now, it's just like 4271, so I'm not going to really be talking about this one too much. But how did I get this engine, you guys are asking? Well, of course, I'll be disclosing that with you right now. This was given to me as a form of payment for an engine that I'll be upgrading in the near future. is my friend HOCl. He's trying to get back into the hobby, and he's also trying to get his son into the hobby as well. And so far, from what he's been telling me, it's working really well. But I've been selling him trains. I have been selling some trains from my personal collection, but it's just trains I don't wish to keep anymore. And plus, I also invested in a lot of trains that I've been selling little by little, and I'm making pretty good money from it, I must add. But anyways, he sent me this. He sent me this as a form of payment, and when I found out that I'd be getting this engine, I figured I'd do the same work to it as I did with 4270, and that is stripping the old horns off, and in the near future investing in some brass cast horns to put on top. I'll be installing 2 Nathan K5 LAs on the engineer side, and for my own personal taste, I'll be installing 2 Details West Leslie A200 Typhon horns facing the back. Now, I know the real OCS F9s do not have an A200 installed, and I bet some of you foamers out there are probably going to be screaming in agony at me, but you guys can keep screaming, but to me, your screams are just going to be a lullaby to me, because these are my models, and I'll do whatever I please. But anyways, those details, I won't be getting those details for a while due to the fact that I need to slow down on trains, and also I'm having to finalize my schoolwork, and I gotta start really thinking about what I'm going to be doing when college comes around, so I can't be thinking too much on the trains as much as I used to. But anyways, this is the new engine. Hope you guys like it. Good match for 4271. Now, in terms of finding the others, that's going to be a bit tricky, but I'm sure I'll find them sooner or later. Anyways, let's move on. Alright, now we're going to be moving on to the items that you guys are really going to like. First up is this Bachman Plus Southern Pacific GS4 number 4406. This item I purchased from the train show back in February. The same train show where I got that Dairyman's League reefer and that SP Diner. I picked this up for $30, and it was mint condition. I mean, everything was still in its bags. Even the handrails, this thing had not been run. The details were still in its bags. The smoke fluid was still in its bag, and the smoke unit was still intact, which I took it out because you guys know my little pet peeve about those old Bachman Sooth units. I do not like them at all. So I like to keep my engine in one piece. But anyways, this is a really smooth running engine. The only complaint I have about it, which this also pertains to my 4446, they're not really strong pullers, but that may change because in the future sometime I may end up buying a little tub of bullfrog snot and adding it to one of the drivers to these engines. But it's a very nice. It's got decent amount of detail. What I like about this is that the rods are chemically darkened to better match the rest of the engine. Got the silver pilot. Got a red, something red right there. I'm actually not sure what that is on the GS4s. Even the handrails are black. That's pretty neat. It's number 4406. Now I will say that is not a correct number for a black GS4 at all. 4406 was actually a GS1. If this would have been 4446 or 4447, then that would have been a much better choice. But it's just a number. It's a good running engine, and now this actually fulfills a spot in my GS4 collection, meaning that now I have a black GS4 to go along my 2 Daylight GS4s. So anyways, now let's move on to the next steam engine. Alright, second to last item on the list. This is something that I think you guys are really going to like. This is an NJ Custom Brass by Dai Young, Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy 05B 484, number 5629. Yes, this is a brass engine. I recently got this from my Uncle Johnny Rosser. Yet again, another thing from him. Paid $250 for this engine. Well, actually, I think all in all it was $250, but I must explain that the form of payment was actually made in 2 ways. I did buy a Caboose for him, which was a Caboose that he wanted because it runs very deep within him. And then I sent him a $200 money order to get this engine. I got it just a few days ago, and I've been working on it, accenting some details. Like I did paint that red valve. I completed the black paint on the bell wire. Just did some cosmetic work to it. I did have to readjust the valve gear, but it's a very smooth running model, and I'm glad to have it. Just the detail on it is just impeccable. Here's the tender. It's an oil burner. Just very nice. There's not much to say about it, just to say it's a brass locomotive. The detail is flawless on this engine. The only thing that stands between me and it right now is the fact I don't think the pulling power is as great as I thought it would be. Because my uncle was actually wary about this too. He warned me before he sent it, and he said that he wanted me to kind of tinker with it and see if I could boost up the pulling power a little bit. I did get it to pull a little bit more than when I first took it out of the box, but I think, because this was near mint, I think the drivers have a coat. I think the nickel needs to be worn down a little bit before the metal can start grabbing better, or if it doesn't do anything, I'm gonna have to apply some bullfrog snot to this engine too whenever I get it. But that doesn't really worry me much. It's just a beautiful engine. The detail is impeccable, and that's all I cared about. It's just the detail, because it was just beautiful. So yeah, not much to say about this engine. I'm sure when you guys first saw this engine in the corner, I bet you guys probably thought it was a Bachman engine, but it's not. This is made by Dai Young, and it was imported by NJ International Custom Brass. Anyways, let's move on to the last item. Alright, now we come to the final item on this latest acquisitions video, and it is none other than the Big Kahuna. This is an Intermountain HOCl cab forward. To be specific, this was the first run cab forward. Now, before you guys get to talking about, oh, did you have that gearbox problem? Did you have that undersized motor problem? I'm going to go ahead and answer both those questions. Yes, I did. I got this from my uncle as a gift. It was a late Christmas gift, and what a late Christmas gift it was. I did have the problems with it, and so I started talking to fellow modelers and collectors who had these, and I asked them, I mean, what do I do? Because I don't want to run this engine knowing that I may overheat the motor. And they said, well, search Intermountain, see if and find their phone number, call them, and ask them if they're still offering the upgrade program for their cab forwards. So the next day, that's what I did. I called them, and I spoke to Mr. Lee. I hope I got your name correct. I spoke to him and asked him if they were still offering the performance upgrades, and he said they were. And I asked him how much would it be for the first runs, and he said it would be $100 due to the fact that you got to replace the motor, you got to replace the gearbox, and a few other associated parts. And I said, well, that's not that bad. I think all in all it'll pay for itself in the long run. And I sent it up, and I also tagged a note in here. I had to print out a form and fill it out and send it with the engine, but along with the performance upgrade, I asked for him to install a non-sound DCC decoder. Now, why did I go with a non-sound? Well, I could get the thing sounded for another $80. It would be given an ESU Lux sound decoder. I didn't have the $80, but I asked him how much would it be for just a straight DCC decoder, no sound, and he said $15. So I said, I'll take that, you know, because if I could at least have this thing DCC'd without the sound for $15, that's fine with me. So I sent it up, and when I got it back, it runs like it should. It's got a DCC decoder. I'm very happy with this engine. And this marks the first articulated scale steam locomotive I have in HOCl. And in terms of pulling power, this thing weighs a ton, and it also can pull a ton. It's a very nice locomotive, being as it is. So, and also, this is a shout out to Intermountain Railway Company. I thank you for your service. You guys have upgraded an engine. You guys have upgraded my engine beautifully. I did not have any problems with it whatsoever, and so you guys will be getting my service again in the future. Should I ever buy, or should I ever send an engine back up to you guys? Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the conclusion of this video. Well, there you have it, guys. That was my these are my newest trains for 2016, or at least so far. Hope you enjoyed this video, even though it was just a acquisitions video. I'm sure you guys are looking forward to seeing some running videos with a few of these engines. And I will keep you guys posted on what happens to those two NS units. I will do a video of the new horns whenever they are installed, so then you guys have a clear look at what they look like. And so that'll be sometime in the future. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Rate, comment, and if you want to, subscribe. That's it for now. I'm Swindell, and I'll see you next time.